What's good, my analyst? Got a real quick one for you today. Look at me go, 2 videos in a week. I'm gonna become a content creator, I guess. This one comes from my buddy who was having trouble extracting the tactical information from this PowerShell payload that comes from CrackMap Exec, I believe. And it's pretty easy. We're gonna walk through it super fast. You're gonna get it. But I understand how people can get tripped up on this one because it's kind of framed differently than the stuff that we've become used to coming out of Veil and the Don't Kill My Cat things. It's a little bit different, but just like all the other ones, everything that we need to deobfuscate it and get that tactical intel from is within the payload itself. And all we got to do is just do it by step. So let me share my screen and let's jump right in. All right. Okay, so here's our command. Hopefully this is big enough for you guys to see. We're using command to basically do our normal not nani PowerShell loader. And then we have our Klingon blob here of just letters and numbers. It doesn't look like base 64, right? Because it's a mix of all these different things, and it doesn't look like compressed in any way. So what they're doing is it's saying like this string, and then they're running this dot split. Now, if you're not familiar in PowerShell, dot split is just a function you can use to say, hey, whenever you have a string, you can split it into multiple strings whenever you match on this. Now, I'm not sure if this is by design in CrackMap Exec, but it's kind of clever because if you just glance at this, and if you're not like super keyed in on the split function, you would think like, I'm trying to match on these two strings and I'm going to split on them. And if you go back, you see that those strings don't exist. But what actually, the way that this is written literally is saying each and every one of these characters I'm going to match on. And when I match, I'm going to split to nothing. So basically removing them from the string. And when you do this, you'll see that string of characters, letters, numbers, and symbols becomes a big list of numbers. And numbers is something that we have come across before in PowerShell payloads because they could be like byte arrays or they could be integer arrays, and those can be converted to other things and compressed. And that is something that we know how to deal with. So I'm going to just show you this. So we're going to, oh, wrong copy and fate. You know, it's me. There's no editing in this, guys. I do this all literally in one take. One take Johnny, that's what they call me. All right, so what we're going to do is we have our variable there, yeet, and we're going to just run that split function on him. And I'm going to show you what happens, what it looks like. And we'll just write this out, and then you'll see like, boom, we're just going to get a list of numbers, right? And just to be sure, I want to see if this is, you can use get type just to make sure there's no funny business going on. You should see string array, but it's all numbers. So we have an array of digits, numerical values, but they are strings. Okay, and then the next part here, and this is probably where most people are going to get tripped up, is it's piping the output of that. So our list of our string array into this. Now, and this is where it can get confusing. If you're not familiar, in PowerShell shorthand, the percentage sign is a for each loop. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to expand this out of shorthand so you can see exactly step by step what's happening. But just know that you could just pipe that yeet to that command right there, get the output. Very similar, but it's good to know what is happening underneath the shorthand. So we're going to just create a for each loop here manually. And we're going to say for every item in that variable, every item in that array, we are going to do a function on it. And what it's doing there is doing some typecasting. So we have in this array, we have a bunch of strings. But what this do is saying, okay, take that item, typecast it as an integer, and then typecast that as a character. So going from string to making that an integer value to saying, oh, no, actually take that integer value and represent it as a character. So taking that ASCII numerical value for a character and moving that over. And when we do that, we're going to get to what is actually packed within this payload. And we're going to do this just one line by line. No big deal. So I'll show you what this is. So I'll just comment all this out. The first thing we're going to do is this first one, like I said, we're going to convert it from string to an integer. And so if I do int yeet get type, we should just get a list of everything being integer value. And we can see, yeah, they're all integers. So that's great. And what we're going to do again, just like they do it in that one line, we're going to say, okay, now that they're integer values, we want to typecast that as a character. And now each one of those will be represented as their ASCII value. So if we do that, and I'm just going to put that out, and you're going to see like, oh, yep, we're going to have a list, but the list is going to start looking human readable. So we run that again. Oh, here we go, /domain. Okay, cool. So we're on the right track. And then finally, what happens in the payload is that it does this join. And basically, it's saying, join all of these characters together instead of doing it as an array, represent them as just one long string. In PowerShell, we can do that easily too without using join. Just say we're going to create a new variable, and we're going to, every time we loop through, we're going to append that character value to the variable, and then we will effectively do the same thing as that join. And when we do that, we should get, boom, we've been able to type, extract the tactical information. It looks like we have a script block here that is just creating a new user account in there. And there's no more obfuscation. Everything is kind of just concatenating strings, probably get through some keyword filtering. So that's great. So that's how you extract the tactical information. I want to kind of bring this last piece in because it's kind of neat. And this is actually something that maybe you want to add to your keyword searching or detections. So in PowerShell, the public environmental variables actually will have character representation. So if we do this, you see I, and if we do 5, it's E, and then we're going to add this X in there. And what happens there is you actually get invoke expression, IEX, right? So this becomes IEX. And so what it's doing is piping the output of that. So our to create a new user HackerMan is being piped over and saying, run this as an expression. And this last bit here, this is old school kind of thing, but what it's saying is, you know, on standard out, we want to redirect that to this file right here, and standard error, we're going to redirect to a file named 1. So that's how you go about extracting the tactical information from those kind of payloads in CrackMap, except you can see it's pretty easy. You just kind of got a step by step, but you may not come across it, and now you know how to do it. So happy hunting, fam. Like and subscribe, follow me on the socials. Everything will be down below. And if you ever come across a payload that you're struggling with, hit me up, man. I love doing this. So I'm happy to help anytime. Find me anywhere out there or on GitHub or anything, and just kind of shoot it on over and I'll take a look at it.